So welcome back guys to the IELTS Grind. My name's Phil. A little while ago we did ask you guys what kind of videos would you like in the future, and loads of you said give us speaking videos, but we need high level speaking videos for the IELTS, and that's what we're going to do today. I'll be answering some part 3 style questions, and I'll be answering them as a native speaker. This is a great opportunity for you guys to look at the vocabulary that I'm using, the grammatical structures I'm using, and also to hear how native speakers do actually answer questions, which is the main answer first and then supporting sentences with details for that answer. So let's jump into it now.
Let's talk about the influence of media.
Right.
How can people be influenced by the media?
Oh, I think there are several ways this could happen, but one thing that came to light fairly recently was with Brexit, which happened, it was a few years ago now. This was when Britain was voting whether or not they wanted to leave the EU. And there was this kind of scandal that there was a company that was using social media to influence how people voted. And unfortunately, it seems that they were giving a lot of false information. And it did sway the opinion of many voters towards what that particular company wanted them to vote for.
You said that there were several ways. Can you mention another?
Yeah, well, another example of politics would be the recent American elections. But just in general terms, advertising is always a bit of a manipulation, especially with internet, because now if you click on a website or you have certain tendencies or preferences as your online presence and persona, the adverts seem to follow you around the internet. And this is definitely a way that media, particularly advertising, is kind of influencing your behavior and your buying behavior in particular.
So all of these methods of influence that you've just mentioned seem to be quite negative. Are there any positive influences that's provided by the media?
It's a tricky one. I can't think of a particular example, but media does have they do have a power, they do have a opportunity to kind of show people the right way of doing things in terms of behavior. So there can be educational aspects to it. For example, let's take driving. So media could have a campaign to help people become better drivers, to be more vigilant, to give way to other people, particularly pedestrians. It can also help people broaden their horizons perhaps and learn about new points of view, and it makes your community and your viewpoint of life a little bit bigger perhaps. So it does have that going for it.
Some people say that the media is too influential. What do you think?
I do agree that media in all its forms has a lot of power. It really does become inherent to your life and is a daily interaction. So whether it be social media, where you're seeing on Instagram the lives of others, and although it can be aspirational, it can also be quite negative because people go into debt trying to keep up with the Joneses. But it's, as I mentioned before, it seems that it's also being used as a tool, to some extent a weapon in politics. I don't know whether or not it's going to stop if we can control it, but I would agree with the fact that media is a very powerful influence in our lives.
If that's the case, should people be trying to divorce it completely from their lives?
I mean, yeah, it would be good to reduce our reliance on social media and aspects like that, but I think it's going to be a very difficult task to achieve.
Why?
We're become so reliant, I'll tell you in a minute, we've become so reliant on just checking in, seeing what our friends are doing, using the web to find out all manner of sort of information and doing research. And at every single turn, every time we turn on a device, we are letting media into our lives. I just don't think it's going to be easy to divorce, to cut that out of our lives.
Has the government ever created or changed policy due to pressure from the media?
I can't think of a particular example, but I do think it has happened. It's something called public opinion. And I think that public opinion can change policies if it's strong enough. Not an example from sort of modern media, but in the 60s in the United States, there were massive protests and movements that really advanced civil rights, and that was public opinion. And I can imagine that something similar could happen even more easily today.
Okay, thank you very much. That's the end of the speaking test.
Okay, guys, so there were some very interesting questions, and this is exactly how I would approach those questions as a native speaker. So do go back and watch those answers again. Look for the vocabulary that I used and the way that I'm answering questions. If you can try and do the same thing in your own speaking test, you're going to get a much better score, especially if you practice it now. So don't forget, if you have enjoyed the video, give us a like, because it does really help us make better videos and more of the videos that you do enjoy. And I will see you in one of those videos very soon. See you later.